Morning, and rest assured, I am wearing khaki shorts along with this suit today. You'll never get to see it, though. 6 o'clock, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on this Tuesday edition of Breakfast Television as we dive into the stories that are making headlines today. Edmonton's ailing hospitals are getting some much-needed work. The province increasing its maintenance budget by 60% for Alberta's key care centres. Translates to $111 million this year and up to $146 by the end of the 5-year commitment. The Royal Alex Hospital redevelopment will be the top priority for the province here in our city. Those funds will also help to expand ERs at other facilities like the Misericordia and Grey Nuns hospitals.
Meeting the healthcare needs not only of Edmontonians, certainly of Edmontonians, but also Albertans from across the northern parts of the province who come here for specialized care.
The deferred maintenance, accrued deferred maintenance, as of this day in Alberta is over $1 billion. And this government just tried to spin a good news announcement out of the decision to add an extra $30 or $40 million a year to deferred maintenance. But it is, in short, a drop in the bucket.
Notley calling this announcement nothing more than a pre-election tactic. Meanwhile, the Premier set to make another announcement in Calgary this morning. Jim Prentice will reveal more details on Alberta's 3-phase build-out of school capital projects. Back in October, he announced 55 new schools will be built, 15 here in Edmonton, while another 22 current facilities would be modernized. While he has said the plan is still a go, many critics wonder what impact last week's budget will have on those projects. It's expected the province will see 12,000 new students in classrooms come this September. An Alberta judge says the Premier can spring ahead with a snap election if he chooses to do so. Edmonton lawyer Tom Engel was asking the courts for an interim order to prevent the Tories from launching a possible vote. He argued a spring campaign would violate the fixed date election law. Under those rules, the vote should be called next spring. However, that same legislation also grants the Lieutenant Governor the authority to dissolve the legislature if requested by the Premier.
The law, which is pretty clear in its face, allows the Premier just to do those things that this government, the PC government, said it would not be able to do.
There is a fixed election dates that were promised to us and delivered by this Conservative government. I think there's a real benefit to making this a public statement.
New polling numbers released just a few minutes ago here this morning suggest that the Wild Rose and Tories are in a statistical dead heat with 24% of support amongst Albertans, with the NDP leading in Edmonton with 35% approval. Well, Brian Jean is bracing for a tough political fight in his own hometown. The new Wild Rose boss set to run in the riding of Fort McMurray-Conklin. Jean was the area MP for nearly a decade. However, the seat he's battling for is currently held by Advanced Education Minister Don Scott. Many believe Jean would seek the seat in Fort McMurray-Wood-Buffalo, which is currently held by the embattled MLA Mike Allen. Jean also wasting little time pitching his platform on Monday, keying in on health care. He vows to repair the system after his 24-year-old son Michael recently passed away due to lymphoma. Man's best friend surviving a close call early this morning. Fire crews responding to a basement fire at 52nd Street and 107th Avenue just after midnight. 2 people upstairs managed to get out of the home safely. They were taken to hospital as a precaution. However, a dog was still trapped inside. Firefighters eventually rescued the pooch and were able to revive the animal once outside. The dog taken to a vet for observation. Meanwhile, the basement's residents were not home at the time of the blaze. Fire investigators now trying to determine just what sparked the fire. A 27-year-old man is facing 2 murder charges in BC and Alberta. Sean Jennings from Edmonton is accused in the shooting death of Alor Deng back in July of 2014. He has also been charged for another unrelated shooting in BC last October, along with 4 firearm offenses. Police also obtaining evidence connected to numerous serious crimes. The arrest is the result of a combined effort between authorities here and in BC.
This was a team effort, and I can't emphasize this enough. We're a big province, we're a big country, and the criminals are not isolated to a local situation.
As challenging as these multi-jurisdictional incidents can be to investigate, our investigations will never be limited by geographical boundaries. Law enforcement agencies will continue to unite and work together, sharing information and expertise in order to safeguard our communities.
Over 50 criminal charges have been laid on others from this collaborative effort. A Fort McMurray Mountie finds himself on the other side of the law today. Constable Kyle Gordon Harrison charged last week with bribery and breach of trust. It's alleged that he accepted money in exchange for handing out information from a police database. The 7-year veteran of the RCMP has been suspended without pay. It is an annual rite of spring, even if we really wish it wasn't. Canada geese returning home to welcome little goslings into the world. Thousands of birds invading parks and golf courses citywide, that in turn making for a sticky, stinky problem. The city says goose droppings have become a major issue once again. Crews trying to round up geese and release them outside of the city, but many of the adults not adhering to that. They return to the parks. Even nest eggs are treated so they won't hatch, but it's proving difficult to control. Orlac and Hermitage Parks estimated to be home to some 300 nests apiece. You can file this next story under items that will not surprise commuters. Traffic congestion is up in Edmonton, according to an annual survey. Car clutter on the road rising 3% in the past year, now up to 23%. That's pushed Edmonton from Canada's 7th busiest roads up to 5th. The average commuter losing almost 60 hours a year in traffic delays. Of Canada's major cities, Vancouver had the worst commute, while Calgary now has the best.